Hey guys, it's Lisa. Welcome to Banning, Panning and Beyond and my first tag video. So today I'm doing the eyeshadow palette lover tag, and I was tagged by Erica, from also known as Spooky Squid. So I'm going to link Erica's channel in the description box, and the tag was actually created by Angelica Lyremar. So I'm not sure who is familiar with either of those channels, but I will link both of them so you can go check their videos out and their channel out. So how many? We've got 10 questions all up, so hopefully I don't stuff this up. I have picked out the palettes and I've got them next to me. So I will start with question number 1, which is obviously the most logical to start with. So the first one is a palette I regret that I didn't buy. So the only one that has really come to mind for me is the Pat McGrath Galactic Gold palette. It was one of the Star Wars ones, and I'm pretty sure that I could dupe it. I haven't tried. It was one on my list to do. I think there was a few repeat shades in that palette. So maybe I'll give it a go one day. But I think from definitely duping palettes in the past, I've realised how much I hate working from multiple palettes. So anyway, that was one that got away, and you know, that's it. Like, even if I could get it on eBay or something, it would be way too expensive, as if they're not expensive enough already. So and we'll pop a photo up of that palette on the screen. So number 2, a palette I regret buying. So at this stage, only one, and it may come as no surprise, but it's the Dose of Colours Sassy Siennas palette. And the only reason I really regret buying it is obviously not because of the colours, because I wouldn't have bought it if I didn't like the colours, but the performance of the shadows. And I know that a lot of people have this palette and it works fine for them. So obviously I got a dud. I know there's a couple of people that have commented on my Instagram and other YouTubers that have had problems with these palettes, and it's not just the Siennas one. It seems those 5-pan palettes are very hit and miss with their formula, so I don't know why that is, but it's not a cheap palette, and I ended up decluttering it. So that at this point is my only regret. So number 3, a palette I haven't used as much as I thought. So for that one, I chose the Violet Voss Flamingo palette. I mean, not just the fact that it is flamingo themed, but I really loved the color story when it came out. It was quite different, and that's it there. It's just such a fun color. They're not too bright, the colors in it. So I don't know, the whole thing, I just loved everything about this palette. And it was I ended up ordering it directly from the Violet Voss website, and normally we have an Australian retailer that actually sells Violet Voss, and there is a bit of a delay from when it's originally released to it actually coming to Australia, and I wanted it that much that I didn't want to wait, and I was willing to pay the 20 US shipping, which when I bought this, that was something I just did not do. So it goes to say just how much I really wanted this palette, and for some reason it just got put aside, and it took up until recently when I did the Rose and Columns challenge. So I'll link those. Was it the last video? I think if I find it, I'll link it. The one that I actually had a look from that challenge when I was recording the video. So if not, well, that's just me being lazy. So that was the first time I'd used it. So this was released quite a while ago. So definitely when I thought I thought I would, like when I got it, I thought I was going to get heaps and heaps of use out of it. So the fact that I've only just used it now, yeah, obviously I have not gotten much use out of it at all. Number 4, a palette used more than I thought. So I know I haven't done my palette inventory yet videos, but let me just say I have a lot, and that lends itself to the fact that probably not many palettes in my collection have had a lot of use, to be fair. So the ones that were going to have the most use would be the ones probably that I've had the longest, because obviously when I first started I didn't have many to choose from. Now I've got so many to choose from that they kind of get a couple of uses, get packed away, and then I move on. So so this one is probably the one that has the most use, sort of visual use, I guess I should say. And it's funny that when I look at it now, it really doesn't excite me much. So that goes to show how much my taste has changed. I also know a lot more about, or have a higher expectation from the formulas. And I can't say that last time I dipped into this palette, that I was that sort of happy with it or is impressed by it when I didn't know any better. So anyway, it was this palette here. I think it is quite a lovely neutral palette, but I probably have these colors in so many other palettes. So I don't know. Look, it's got flamingos on it, so it's never going to get decluttered, you know, even the front of it. So it's the Pretty Fun and Fearless palette by Ciate London, and it was with Chloe Morello, who is an Australian makeup artist and an influencer, and I believe Beauty with Andy, I think she had the number 2 in this one, and I'm pretty sure she wasn't happy with the quality of the shadows in that either. So Andy, if you're watching, let me know and confirm whether or not that was the case for me. So yeah, but anyway, back in the day when I didn't have a lot of palettes to choose from, that got quite a bit of use, but now it's fallen by the wayside because I have a lot more to choose from. So number 5, my favorite half neutral, half colourful palette. This one was really hard because I didn't really, to be honest, I'm not really overly familiar with my collection because I have so many that none have sort of stuck in my mind that it's a half neutral, half colourful. So I had to sort of pull a few out and go through them. And the one I ended up selecting was the OPV London Spotlight palette. So I will hold this up. And the worst thing about this is I can't really say it's my favourite. Well, it can be a favourite, but it more qualifies because I thought it was the closest to being half neutral, half colourful, but I've never used it, and it is absolutely gorgeous. So look, there's just so much you can do with this palette. There's plenty of neutrals in there, there's plenty of colour, some absolutely beautiful shimmers in there, and yeah, and I've never touched it. So not because I don't like it, obviously, but it's just another one of those palettes that I've ordered, put aside, and never got around to using it. So that is staying out on my desk, and I'm going to make sure that I use that before it gets packed away. Okay, so number 6, a palette I bought for the packaging. Now, I do have lots of palettes with really pretty packaging, but none of them I bought purely for the packaging. This one was probably the only one that I bought for the packaging, having read reviews that the formula was not so good. Some people liked it, some people didn't, and I was willing to have it anyway, even if the formula wasn't good, just for the packaging. So I figured this one was the one that qualified, and it's the Ciate London So Surprising formula, not so great. The Jessica Rabbit one. I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's just something about it I absolutely love. I'm not saying it's the prettiest packaging I've got, but it's the one I bought for the packaging, despite what the formula of the shadows inside would be. So so I think that one qualifies best for that one. Number 7, a palette that you like the shimmers more than the mattes. Okay, so this one I picked, and it's not because I don't like the mattes, but it's because the shimmers are absolutely outstanding. And I use the term shimmer lightly because they're actually more metallics, but I'm guessing that's kind of the point, rather than being so specific. But it's the Coloured Rain Safari Rain palette. I remember the first time I used this palette, the metallics in it, I was absolutely 100% blown away. I could not believe the quality of it. So yeah, so it doesn't say that the mattes aren't good, because they are. It's just that the metallics in this are absolutely outstanding. So I think that may feature again further down, so we'll have to look. Okay, now number 8 is a palette that you like the mattes more than the shimmers. So again, this one was hard, and again, it doesn't say anything about the shimmers in it. It's just the fact that the mattes are particularly outstanding, and I couldn't use the Safari Rain one because that wouldn't have worked. So with that one, I chose the Autumn's Rain palette by Sydney Grace. I've only just recently acquired this palette, and I've only used it the once, but I was really happy with the quality of the mattes in this, but of course the metallics in it are beautiful as well. But yeah, I always heard so much about the matte formula in this, or I should say from Sydney Grace, and I have to agree that it is in fact beautiful. And I apologise again for those flare-ups. It's really annoying me. I wish I had lots of money and that I could go and buy a new phone, but that's not going to happen. So number 9, almost there guys, a palette that happily surprised you. Well, okay, yeah, I told you it was going to feature again. It was this one. So overall, this is my all-time favorite palette, and so much so that it is the only one that I have a duplicate of. When they restocked this in, was it July, I think, of this year? No, it was June, that's right, because I was still on my no-buy, and my husband was giving me an end of year bonus, and he ended up buying this for me. I said rather than me getting money, because we have our own business, and I didn't want money that would just end up getting spent on groceries and go into the household budget. So this way I actually got to choose something for myself instead, and I ended up, and I can link that video. I believe I did a separate one with the things that I actually got in that, because he bought me more than just the palette. So the last one is a palette with the most interesting color story. So I think I have a lot of palettes with interesting color stories, but this one, I mean, even the OPV one, but you know, I wanted to pick something different, and this is a palette that, another one that I haven't used yet, which is also going to stay on my desk until I've done a look with it. I think I've only swatched one shade in here when I was trying to dupe another palette, and it is the Flare palette by Ace Beauty. So that's upside down, Lisa, good job. So that's it there. Absolutely beautiful packaging, and the color story inside is just, wow. So look at that. Very bright, and sort of got a lot of depth. So I'm hoping that I can go in with a light brush and that these are nice and buildable. I have used other Ace Beauty, or I hope I'm saying that right, it's not Ace Beauté. I've used shades from other palettes from this brand, and the formula is absolutely beautiful. So I'm pretty sure I'm not going to have problems with trying to actually build these up. But as much as I'm learning to really love colour, and obviously palettes like this that have been in my collection before my no buy, obviously the colours appealed to me. I just didn't have the confidence to use them. So I'm hoping now that this year that I've been sort of pushing myself to use more colour, that I will finally get some more use out of my more colourful palettes in the collection. Like I said, this one's going to stay on my vanity until I have done a look with it. So expect to see that on my channel at some point. I'll try and make sure that I use both of those palettes when I actually film. So so that's it as far as the questions. I will put them all in the description box. I'll type them up. But now it's time for me to tag some other YouTubers. So obviously it's open to whoever wants to do it, and I'm going to tag a few, only in hope that, you know, everyone's busy. Not everyone is necessarily going to get around to filming it. They may have plenty of other topics and things that they want to film. So hopefully by tagging a few people, that at least one or two will get around to it. So the first two people I wanted to tag are the Andreas. So we've got Beauty with Andy and Pretty as a Peacock. I'm going to link all these people in the description box as well, just so that if anyone needs to check, and if I need to remember, I know who I've tagged. The other one is Marilee from Marilee Does Makeup. I have Tyra from 100 Palettes Later, and Trina from Beauty Habitua. So, and I've also got a note here to tag Nona. So I am, like I said, I'll put all of them in there in the description box, and I really hope that all of you guys end up doing this tag, but if not, that's fine too. It's totally up to you guys, but I know that you all love eyeshadow, so I thought it was quite applicable to tag you guys. So so that's it. I've got a few more videos to film today and a lot of editing to do, so I'm going to get to that, and I wanted to say once again thank you for joining me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.